1st of May, Rabbi Furst, Mishna Berura.
Okay. Even if there are 10 people,
The Tzaisi L'Sefer Torah is also.
besides the one reading,
I mean, even if there are 10 others there by the Sefer Torah, excluding him.
oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
not a question of breaking up the minyan. That's a separate shayla. That's something else. If you have a minyan mitzumsum and you're the 10th person, if you're going to leave now in the middle of the Kriyas Torah, that's another issue. Whether you can continue. In theory, you should be able to continue, because the general rule is, once you start with 10, you can continue that section of the davening that you're involved with, even though you don't have 10 right now. For example, if you had 10 people mitzumsam exactly, and you started chazuras hashatz, right, and then some person left in the middle, even by kedusha. So if I'm not mistaken, the halacha is you can still say kedusha and the whole chazuras hashatz, except for Birkas Kohanim. We'll talk about that in a moment. Even though you only have 9 now, but since you started with 10, the chazuras hashatz, you can continue now that whole section of davening, even though you're lacking a minyan of 10. Birkas Kohanim you should not and you cannot do in that situation, because that's considered to be a separate topic, inyan, from the chazuras hashatz. So therefore you can't do Birkas Kohanim because you don't have 10. But for the chazuras hashatz, since you started with 10, you'll be able to continue even now you have, let's say, only 9.
That's interesting.
Not Birkas Kohanim.
I guess when we get to Birkat Kohanim,
You'll speak about that.
What happens if there are only 10 at the minyan? Can the Kohen?
That the halakha is discussed. That is true. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, when we get there, it'll be interesting. Okay, let's see. So the Gimel, the Gam hu kivar Shema Kriyat HaTorah Yasara Afilu Hache Asur. So then also
right, that the Gam who kavar Shema Kriyat Torah Basara.
already heard it.
Let's say this person. Let's say he. Whether you have 10 or more than 10, that doesn't matter. That's not the issue right now. Even if this person who's leaving or wants to leave, he already heard Kriyas Torah with a minyan of 10. Even then, nevertheless, it's also awesome for him to leave as long as the Sefer Torah is open at this point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would just logically think it's just disrespectful, to do such a thing.
Yeah, okay. I mean that is the case.
Okay, so the next one is Bet.
Let's see, base.
Let's see, Aval ben Gavre, So yeah, but in between, I guess the going up and coming down of the people. The who.
Yeah, right.
Kishe nisharu asara b'veit knesset. Okay.
So here, go ahead, man.
So here they, the 10 have to stay in the shul.
Right, meaning that in this case where it's being gavra, it's between the leaders, so it's permissible for them to leave, but still it isn't a case where there remain at least 10 in the Beit Knesset.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. 10 have to remain. Okay. So Shapir Dami. This is you. Okay. V'hainu shekevar Shema Kriyat HaTorah Shedato Lavo Miyad V'gam ze eino mutar ki im kishehu litzorech gadol.
So what does it mean? What does it mean? Shaper dummy. It's okay to do this in a case where he's already heard Kriyas Torah, Oh, Shadaita Lavo Miyad, or is planning to come back right away, meaning before they start the next Aliyah. Kamza Eina Mutter, Ki'im Kishud Sorakalo. Even in this case, it's only mutter in case there's a great need, meaning you just can't leave because you have a nice thing to take care of or to do, right? It must be a Sorakalo, it must be some great need which is forcing you to leave, even being Gabla Gabra between the Aliyahs during the Kriyas Torah. So you could, but you're really not to do it. You should start it. And if you're leaving, you should start out and come back before you're going to miss the next Aliyah.
Ah, yeah. So, for example, a screaming child.
Right. Yeah. If he's disturbing the congregation, yeah, that's a sort of guddle for sure.
Right.
1 second. 1 second. Okay, that's one thing. There are a couple of beer halakas which might be worth us doing. 1 second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's take a look at the beer halakha. You said keshu pasuk, when you can't leave when it's the Sefer Torah is still open.
Okay. Let's see. Milashon zeh mashma da'afilu lo hitchilu adayin likrot asor mekevan shekevar niftach sefer.
So from this expression, the way it's being phrased, Mr. Brewer's the Chavetz Chaim is writing this based on the way the Mechaber wrote this. But when it's open, meaning it's forbidden for you to leave when the Sefer Torah is open. It's mashma, you can imply from here that filoloitila in the cross, even in the case where they haven't yet begun to read, it's still usher. It's still usher to leave. Why?
Oh, wow. Okay, let's see. The Saif bet Stam HaMechaber Keharambam the Davka Keshehitchil Likrot Asur Acha Le'inyan Latzeit Tamid to pay.
So it's you can imply from here that it's also to leave as long as the Sefer Torah is open. You can imply from there, even if you have not yet started to read, as long as the Sefer Torah is open, right? Opposite base Stam and Mechaber, even though that the Mechaber in Sif base was going like this a Rambam, Davkesh the cross also, that the Mechaber in Sif base seems to be learning not like that. Seems to be learning only it's usher as long as they've begun to read. But if the reading hasn't begun yet, it's mashal from Sif base that there's no issue to leave yet. So
Okay.
how do you explain the two? How do you explain these two apparently contradictory implications?
Okay, so let's see. Ve'af the inyan ben gavre legavre chamir sham mehacha the hacha share v'chatam asur le'inyan letzeit kshehi petucha chamir hacha mechatam.
That, so he wants to the explanation of the Chavetz Chaim is as follows: that here the Indian is to go out. It's chamertrei. It's more serious. It's a more serious infraction, right? After the Indian ben gavla gavara chamer, even going in between the aliyahs is even more serious. Why? Why? There, here in our halakha aleph, it's permitted. Chasam, it's usher, and we'll get to set base soon. Lenient seshu patuach chamer. Hacha, Mahacha, it's more strict over here. Why? What's the answer? Let's see. Continue on.
Okay, Achein Milashon Harambam, Mashma dehacha Gam Keneno Asur Rak Shehitchil Likrot.
That here it's only usher only when they begin to read.
Only when they begin to read. Oh, okay. Amnam Lefima She Mitzaded Magen Avraham V'chein Mashma Mehagra Desham Gam Ken Asur Techef Mishenif Tach Im Kain B'inyanenu B'vadai Ein Lahakel.
That Sham Gamgin also take a shinif tachu im came binyanenu v'vadei lahakil. So the two, it's okay. See, Sif base is talking about speaking. Okay, here we're talking, and Sif Aleph we're talking about leaving, and Sif base is talking about talking, right? So basically, he's explaining that it's more serious to talk, right, than to leave.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But we'll, you know what? We're really gonna to really appreciate this Berura, we're gonna have to see Sif base. And you know what? Leave this. I mean, I don't want to go into the explanation of the Berura yet. Let's save this to Sif base, and we'll have a better appreciation of it. But look at the next Berura. Abu Ben Gavra Lagavra. This will be more relevant to what we're doing right now. These two.
Oh, okay. Abu Ben Gavra Lagavra. Okay. Ayin b'tash beit chelik gimel siman tzadi chet shekatav dezehu davka ishe'ira adavar be'akrai be'alma. Let's see. Aval kishe osin ze tadir near Eb Paruch all Torah. Kimat she'ani omer she'aleihem ne'mar v'ozvei Hashem yichlu oh chas v'shalom ayin sham.
So it said that with the Mechaber said, Ben Gavra Lagavra, between the Elias, you could leave. So the Tashbas is explaining this is Davke Kishiro David Be'akroi Be'alma, that it's when something just happens to happen out of the blue. Also Tadir, but if he's going to do this on a constant basis, nearer the Porach Old Torah, it appears by doing it on a constant basis, right? It's as if he's has v'sholim throwing off the yoke of Torah. Kemat ani omer alei, and it would be then that they would speak about such a person that azve Hashem yichol hashem, that those who are forsaking Hashem would be cut off as v'sholim. So the pshat that Mr. Berura is saying in the Mechaber now is that you can leave Ben Gavra Gavra if something happens just by chance, something happens, but not that if you're going to do something on a regular basis. Meaning, he decides on every base vehay between the Levi and Israel, he's going to go out and make a phone call for a minute and a half. You can't do it on a regular basis. That's much more serious than simply leaving because of some happenstance happened to occur.
Would this also be the case for the Haftarah too?
That's a very good question. I had this question myself about even like because we'll see about speaking. Sometimes it's not clear to me. Right, we'll have to see if we can decide this question. It's not clear to me if it applies to. Definitely, you can't if the sefer is open for the maftir for the haftorah. you can't leave then if it's safer.
Right, right.
Whether it's the same strictness as to whether or not you can go out or not, and if even perhaps regularly, that I'm not sure about. And maybe we'll see about speaking also. And that speaking between the, because sometimes it takes time between the, let's say sometimes you have two Sefer Torahs, they're doing the Hagbar for the first, takes time to open up the other Sefer Torah. You want to talk to somebody, whether you have to be strict about that or not. It's not clear to me 100%.
No, okay.
One more shopper dummy, one more mir halacha.
Oh, that's Shapir Dami.
Right.
Okay, Shapir Dami. Okay, Ayin b'fri chadash mitzaded lomar demisha'a shegamar hakriya afilu lo beirach adayin birchat asher natan yachol latzeit. Oh, that's interesting. U'v'sefer Mate Yehuda Holech al Zeh.
He
argues that. Okay. The habracha sheikla lahakriya v'chashiva kavate ayin sham.
So here we have a machlokas. The Mishna brings a machlokas as to whether or not the bracha achrona on the Sefer Torah is considered to be part of it, where you could leave or not. According to the first opinion, the Pri Chadash, then he's leaning towards saying that once they complete the kriya, and even if they haven't made the bracha yet, you can leave. But the Matif Yehuda argues on this, and he says no, the bracha is still considered part of the kriya, and therefore you shouldn't leave. So I guess worthwhile staying another moment or two. If you have to leave when it's permissible to leave, being by gabra gabra, so it's logical to say that you should probably, since it's a machlokas, whether you're permitted to leave when they're making the bracha or not, probably just wait another moment and then leave once they finish the bracha, and then according to all opinions, you'll be okay.
No, also it helps on Shabbat to get your 100 brachas in to stay and say amen.
That's also right. That's right. Okay. Let's see. We have. Okay, let's take a look at the Mechaber in Beis. We won't have a chance to do the Mr. Brewers, but we'll take a look at the beginning of the Mechaber in Beis. It's a long Mechaber, as a matter of fact. Just get an idea what it's talking about.
Okay, so this, let's see. Hevan shehitchil hakore likrot b'sefer Torah asur l'saper afilu b'divrei Torah. Oh, okay, that's important. Okay. Afilu ben gavra legavra v'afilu im hishlim hu haparsha.
So it says here, right, once you've begun to read from the Sefer Torah, it's also to talk, even if it's going to be the Divrei Torah, and even if it's going to be in Ben Gavra Legavra, you're not supposed to talk. And even if you finish the Parsha, this might be an answer to your question about the Maftir, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see about that. We'll get the, right.
Okay. Real quick. V'yesh matirin ligrom gelachash. V'yesh omrim she'im yesh asara ditzatei l'sifrei Torah mutar l'saper. V'yesh matirin l'mi she'Torah umanuto.
So there's an opinion here that allows you to learn balachas quietly. And there's another opinion that if you have 10 people that are paying attention to the Kriyas Torah, right, it's mutter to talk, and there are those who say it's permissible if a person who's a Talmud Torah Munaso is a Talmud Chacham, it's permissible to talk. And then you have another opinion. We have 3 or 4 opinions about when it's permissible. But
Okay, well, I guess
okay.
that's for tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna go over the whole macabre tomorrow, and and
Okay,
then when we do this, we'll get to see the difference between the Sif Aleph and now Sif Beis. Okay, thank you very much, Larry. That was very good.
you're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you,